Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about what I believe currently to be the 3 best things in MCOC compared to 2019, and at the same time probably 3 of the worst things that how either freshly emerged in 2019 or how just been going on forever unaddressed. So this is a small variation of kind of like a year summary, or more or less the status we're currently in MCOC, in my personal opinion. And I'm gonna start with one that is quite major in my opinion, and this is gonna be on the good side, on the good place for MCOC, and that is that we are seeing more and more quality of life changes, and there are more of them in the works. With the next update, we're gonna have undo button. Now, if the game would only, as so kind, load for me, we have help 10 instead of help 4, and we have more user-friendly HUDs. At the same time, obviously, masteries is the big and obvious quality of life change that we're still waiting for. But at the moment, right now, it is very positive to see several things tweaked, and the fact that Kabam is thinking for it is quite big positive. Like, we have the ability to poke our alliance mates in game, that therefore rely less on line chats. We have ability to filter champions by tags and not having to jump to Aunt May or some sort of Trukos picture all the time. And what else did we got? We can duel almost all of the champions relatively simply without having to rely on dual bots or some other chat. So I do think we're definitely not there yet, but it is at the same time very big positive that we have actually started to see improvements. Unfortunately, I personally believe that these quality of life improvements have started to come in from less relevant and necessary places in game, because I do think that by far the most urgent and desperate quality of life change that we all need is better mastery system. But nonetheless, the fact that they have been coming and the fact that Kabam has been starting to code them is a huge positive for me. And the second biggest positive for me in 2020 compared to 2019, it's content. I like content, though it is coming out right now a lot better. Act 7.1 was miles more fun than Act 6. Variants 5 and 6 are, and 4 and the previous ones are incredibly fun. We do not have a new version of kind of like top end bleeding edge Everest content, which I'm also patiently waiting for. But overall, when it comes to the enjoyment of going through all of these new quests that Kabam is putting in, it's very fun. It's a lot more enjoyable. Obviously, we haven't really gotten the same kind of like quality transfer to every single other aspect of the game, but overall, all these new nodes, new node combinations seem to be working together a lot more smoothly. And I think one of the biggest things in Act 7 that didn't get praised enough is how Kabam managed to turn absolutely horrible nodes into fun ones. They took several nodes like Aspect of War or whatever, we had Caustic Temper on a boss, and these, well, energy adoptions are fine, but yeah, they took many very bad nodes. Even Spite and Tranquility go well really solidly together, because you can kind of ignore the Spite and then just rely on Tranquility to wipe the power bars of the both champions. And whoever is designing these quests and node combinations seemingly actually knows the game a lot more intimately and better, and is capable of providing better end user experience. And then obviously variant 6, where for most part it was very fun and entertaining, and variant 5 is one of my favorite pieces of content as well. So overall, I definitely have to say that exiting 2020 and entering 2021, Kabam's capability of creating fun and engaging and interactive content has definitely never been higher than it is right now, in my personal opinion. And therefore, that's going to be the second big positive. And the last big positive, the last biggest thing I think, is that the champion designs have been getting better and better and more fun. And I think 2020 is kind of like a year of stability, where you could pretty much count that every new champion that's coming out, he might not be the best one, but they all have some sort of unique traits, playstyles, and so many of them are so fun to play. Yes, we have had our Teraxes, Molmans, Novas, and some other duds this year, but we have had plenty of very engaging, interesting, and useful champions. Now, when it comes to the champion power levels themselves, I do think that it is currently a problem where Kabam is going in making many champions good and great, but no more insanely broken amazing champions. And it's only problem because we have these insanely broken amazing champions in the game already. Like we have our Nick Furies, Ghosts, Agons, Omegas, and what have you. And the new champions just don't quite compete in the power level. Like, for instance, in my top 13 champions in MCOC currently video, not a single one of them was from 2020. You can make an argument maybe for like one or two of them. But overall, we see a lot more balanced, a lot more interesting champions. And I think that is a healthy direction for the game to step into, especially combined with how Kabam has been creating these new game content pieces. Like Act 6 was the epiphany of you need to have one of these 5 champions if you want to have decent time clearing it, which felt horrible because you ended up using the same 5-10 champions again and again and again, and because it very significantly separated people into haves and have-nots, like namely, let's say, Mr. Sinister boss. And Act 7.1 does it a lot better, but it also does it a lot better because 2020 champions seem to be more broadly generic and capable of doing plenty of different things, but at the same time, then pretty much never the only champions that can do something. Here, a good example would be when we had to deal with Acid Wash Mysterio, where you need to be able to inflict armor break in order to be able to poison the Mysterio. And at that point, we only had King Groot, who absolutely sucked, or Man-Thing, who's capable of doing that piece of content. And that's an absolutely cash-grabby garbage way of designing a game, by quite literally forcing people to go out and get a champion if they want to clear that content in its intended way or manner. Yes, you can now damage it, or yes, you can unit man it, but still, if you want to clear the node the way the node was designed, you have to go and get one specific champion. And we have moved away from that. And the champions themselves and the champion designs kind of like showcase that. We do get new abilities that are like unseen, but they don't really kind of like demand that acquisition from a champion itself. And if you don't have to be as obsessed at obtaining a champion, you can spend more time enjoying the game and enjoying whatever champions you do have. You have like less pressure to go out there and drop $100, $500 in Kabbalah crystals to try and get lucky. So I think that also the drop in these power levels is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's overall a good thing whose benefits we're going to feel over time. But as I said, there are also bad things to talk about. And I mentioned masteries, so I'm not going to go into that. Quality of life change improvements are great, but the fact that we haven't had any mastery overhaul is quite pathetic. But I'm not going to get into it too much. What I will talk about is going to be arenas, and we can tag in alliance daily events, and because solo events have gotten refresh, but Summoner Advancement hasn't. Then we have these alliance daily events that haven't gotten any improvement and are absolutely worthless. But I think the worst area in the game right now by far is the arenas. Now, that did increase the champion pool from 150 to 300, and arguably, for instance, for somebody like me, who have a relatively established account, it is quite easy to acquire a 5-star champion. The problem is that a 5-star champion means very, very little right now, especially if you have established roster like myself. And if there is a crystal that awards a chance of acquiring the same champion as a 6-star with no effort, just opening a crystal, I think it's mind-boggling that people aren't given the opportunity to work hard and acquire that champion. Unfortunately, the situation in game is a lot more dire than that, because there is no way through any other means except hard money to target champions at the 6-star level. We don't have 6-star dungeon crystals. We do have the 6-star feature crystals, but we do not have the 6-star class crystals, let's say. And all in all, only way how you can make sure that you get a specific 6-star champion when you're looking for it, currently, it is just stock up on units, buy as many Odins as it takes, and pop up as many Cavalry crystals as it takes. And ultimately, I can understand that game needs to make money, and the money purchases will always have inherent advantages over hard work, time, attention, or dedication. But at the same time, I do not agree with a system where money allows you to get something that no amount of hard work will ever come close to that. And in this case, we can just jump to Crystal Vault, and let's say purely theoretically, I want 6-star Guardian. I can get that 6-star Guardian today if I have money. I can buy 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 100 Odins and pop crystals and don't stop till I get it. But one thing is for certain. If I do not have a limit on my spending, sooner or later I would get that Guardian as a 6-star on my account today. As a free-to-play player, which I'm not, but you do not have that option. As a player who does not have an unlimited budget, you can grind arena till your fingers fall off, but you will never have a guarantee to get Guardian as 6-star right now. And I think that is the biggest slap in the face to the player base currently Kabam is dishing out daily, where you can buy something that you cannot work for, and this happens every day. For me personally, I remember how frustrating it was, not even just this year, but already the last year when I was grinding, I think, for Call Obsidian. And I grinded 3 days for Call Obsidian, and I got him as a 5-star, but just before I got him, a teammate of mine popped 3 crystals, pulled the 6-star Call Obsidian, and he effectively was in possession of significantly more valuable champion resource because it had a higher star level than I was after 3 days worth of grind. And it will never be the case when grinding is superior to spending in a game such as this. But I think it's high time we close that gap where you cannot grind for 6-star champions. And I think 6-star arena as well as tier 2 alpha arena is long overdue. The reason I'm mentioning tier 2 alpha arena is because I want to talk about the game's economy. And the game's economy is as fucked up as one could possibly imagine. We have gotten our medium-low resources stripped off in almost all significant alliance-themed piece of content, and all of the newer high-end game piece of content. What do I mean by that? For instance, if we're going to go to Alliance Quest, I'm not going to jump in there, and if we're going to go to rewards, we can see, well, that's not this. You can see that rank rewards do not offer tier 4 basics or tier 4 class catalysts up until 800 spot. But if you're playing the game in a higher level than 800th place in it, you still need those tier 4 class catalysts just as much, if not more. End result is where at beginning of 2019, I probably had around 500 to 600 tier 4 class catalysts stashed away. Currently, I'm sitting on 7 crystals that I haven't opened. There is a huge lot of tier 4 CC artificially generated in this game because they have taken away tier 4 CC from most of the significant rewards in the game for endgame players. Kabam has also done the same thing in Alliance War. For instance, if you go to the season and check out the season rewards right now, if you are in Masters, you're not even getting tier 2 alpha anymore for completing a Master season. And each of these places could be offset by one way or another, and everybody loves saying, oh, just use your glory for it. But truth of the matter is, even if I just exclusively use all my glory into buying tier 2 alpha and tier 4 class catalyst, it still doesn't match up to the speed of acquisition of tier 5 basics and whatever else. And that still leaves us with tier 1 alpha and whatever other resource we need. And at this point, it's very safe to say that the game's economy is very off whack. Every single account that I'm speaking to is in shortage of some sort. If it's mid-tier players, obviously mid-tier players are largely chasing the highest resources. But any higher endgame player is desperate for tier 4 class catalyst crystals, desperate for tier 2 alpha, desperate for ISO or one thing or another. And something's going very, very wrong. And it has been going wrong for a while. And Kabam has either done it willingly or has refused to fix it. But as the game offers more of these resources to earn, as the reward pools get bigger and bigger, as we continue with the next chapter of Act 7, you'll feel it more and more, where you're technically gonna have enough tier 5 basics to rank up 5 champions, but you will only be able to rank 1 or none, because Kabam will have failed to provide you with avenues of acquiring tier 2 alphas or tier 4 class catalysts or tier 1 alphas or whatever you have. And what's worse, none of the players has a guide or help trying to explain to them how are you meant to spend your resources and how are you meant to acquire. Everybody's kind of like going around blindly, because whatever the idea is behind the current economy in the game, players clearly aren't getting it, because everybody is living in very significant shortages. And there are other issues with games economy right now. Another great example, for instance, would be 4-star signature stones. Okay, I'm gonna go quickly claim this one. Earlier this month, I opened my 4-star signature stones because I just hadn't done it for about a year, and I figured I'll sig up my 4-star champions. It turns out that I could sig up every single 4-star champion that I had, and I currently have about 20 tech class 4-star signature stones that we get pretty much every day from these events that are gonna expire because I cannot use any more 4-star signature stones. And what's messed up about that is I'm gonna keep earning them every single day. As you can see in the rewards here, there are the 4-star signature stones here. We have generic ones, 3 of them, and there was a crystal probably somewhere earlier, and I keep earning them every day. But past this point, I will never ever be able to use these items, even though I'm forced to earn them every day. So again, this is another perfect example of game just not functioning properly in its economy. I know it's just 4-star signature stones and nobody cares about it, but at a point like this in my personal progression level, I shouldn't be earning 4-star signature stones going forward if I literally have no chance of using them. What I mean by no chance of using them is if I'm gonna pop into my inventory and I'm gonna find, where are they? 4-star generic signature stones. Sure, we can see I can't use them, but I will keep earning them every day. So the reward structure in itself is already wrong, let alone the quantities of these signature stones. And there are dozens of examples like this in game. Perfectly luring example would be Glory Store right now. The fact that Kabam has reduced the price of all of the resources except Alliance Quest potions currently means that one Alliance Quest potion that heals you up for 6,000 health, which would basically equal to 60 units, because that is the unit amount that you can purchase it, is 260 glory. What else can we get for 260 glory? I can get tier 4 basics. Tier 4 basic costs 200 glory. So if we extrapolate the same unit valuation, tier 4 basic currently costs about 45 units or 50 units. And 6,000 health in Alliance Quest or Alliance War costs 60 units. That's completely ludicrous overvaluation of Alliance themed health potion. So whoever's in charge of game economy has fucked up bad, and I really hope a huge overhaul is coming our way, because the economy is going tits up faster by the day than ever before. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and I'm not going to drag this out too much, is bugs. The game is 6 years old. Granted, we have new abilities, new interactions coming consistently. And I think it would be unrealistic to expect that there are no bugs ever. But 2020 has been a horrible year for this game in terms of amount of bugs, in terms of the times the game goes down, to a point where every single time an update launches, vast majority of the player base pretty much expect it to go down, expect some maintenance to pop up, expect something not to work. And I don't think that anything I can say could better demonstrate how little confidence player base has in Kabam when it comes to maintaining, fixing, and improving their own game in technical department. All the memes where we have monkeys in front of computers and like monkeys trying to fix stuff with big Kabam letters on top of it, it's all well deserved, because it is a bit of a shit show. That I don't remember a single monthly update where we didn't get new bugs introduced, even if we're not talking about the new champions or new nodes. But all of a sudden, Medusa stops working, even though Medusa technically hasn't been changed for 5 months. All of a sudden, Warlock starts whiffing special attacks or something, even though technically nothing's supposed to change. I'm not a programmer, I don't know how these things work, but it's clear that they don't. Or at the very least, it's quite clear that there is very little to no existing quality control in Kabam. Which is, again, quite preposterous, considering how long this game has been around and how much money has been spent on it. I think it's only fair for us as consumers to expect that Kabam reinvest some of that money trying to make sure that the game runs and runs properly. And that is it. That is where we are with MCOC in 2020 as opposed to 2019, I suppose. And overall, not to finish on a bad note or bad vibe, I must say that I do personally think that the game is in a better place and is looking quite significantly more hopeful this year than it was the last. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.